writing now. I think I found my creative outlet.
Right.
Not just one.
So you like to write?
I love to write. I love to express. I believe I'm a very expressive person. And that's it's my most comfortable thing to do is to express.
Yeah.
But I'm also a very private person, which a lot of people don't know.
Again, acceptable language.
Yes. That book changed my life. It basically talks about how we have a wounded child who's quite creative.
Hi guys, this is the Bangalore Podcast and we are a bunch of guys who are ever curious and we'd want to get out there and ask stupid questions to smart people. And we want Bangalore to answer. And this podcast is all about that. And if you are curious like us too, and if you're a Bangalorean, this is a good place to be.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Bangalore Podcast. There you go. I've gotten Apurvaa over, and the whole reason I got her over is I was curious as to like why would she be over the Bangalore Podcast. I'm going to ask her what made you think you like the podcast.
I think it was...
Because you reached out to, usually people don't do that. I reach out to people.
Yes, I reached out to you. I think I really wanted to speak.
And what?
And share.
I'm a podcast fan.
Yes.
So you want to speak?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know Apurvaa, how about a quick, brief an introduction for our listeners.
Okay. Why don't you start?
Apurvaa is a good friend, so that's the introduction I give you.
Okay. Well, Apurvaa has just gotten back to India after 4 years of not being in India. And
how was not being in India?
I think good. I learned a lot.
Where were you? What were you up to there?
Cambodia.
Which I don't know.
Cambodia. I was working.
Cool. And?
That's it. I was living there and working.
How was Cambodia?
Great.
Right. To start off, which college?
Okay. I studied in a school called Nirmala Rani.
Nirmala Rani?
You know,
Where?
Malaysia.
Yeah, Malaysia.
And then I went to college in Mounts. I did my PU.
This is the classic Nirmala Rani.
Of course.
Mounts is the classic movement. Right.
Mounts, I did media.
Which I don't know.
Yeah. Now you do.
So,
and then I took a year break after college. Yeah. And then I did yoga.
So, okay, let's go. I like the media part. Let's go into media.
Alright.
What did you study? What did you learn?
Journalism. What did I study? What I actually studied?
Yeah, let's go there. I'm interested. Like our viewers, obviously, as far as they are concerned with me, like I ask the nitty-gritty questions. Okay. So, like, what do you study in media and journalism? And what would one expect if they're about to like study journalism? That's why the question.
Well, on a very personal level, I think I wanted to become an activist. There was a part of me that wanted to like go into women's rights and children's rights, fight for it, and then I realized I'm not cut out for it simply because it's a lot of ತುಂಬಾ ದಮ್ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ for me it seemed like when I looked at my life 5 years down the lane of like being in media or being in journalism, I felt like I would lose myself in it.
Okay.
Not in a good way.
And
what do you
I don't know.
college? I really don't believe you study much in college, to be honest.
Give us some subjects like media and communications and like what
political journalism, which by the way wasn't my
niche.
Yes, it was not. Then we did mass media communication. Then we learned how to make
Yeah. Make? Okay. what's your overview of podcasts? And what's your understanding of podcasts and just podcasting in general in Bangalore for that matter?
Well, I believe like what I understand or how I look at podcasts is just people like-minded or not coming together and having a conversation.
Okay.
An honest conversation, as honest as you can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And I think it's pretty great.
You listen to podcasts?
Yeah.
Like?
Joe Rogan.
OG. Yes.
Yes. And like.
Everybody listens.
No, this is not the guy I wanted to say. I have said the wrong name.
Confess.
Actually, wait, one second. Please, hold on.
Confess.
I like Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, maybe.
I like him, but this guy. Aubrey Marcus.
Okay, what is he into?
Aubrey Marcus talks about like psychedelics and
Okay. The Terence McKenna. The modern Terence McKenna.
he's nice. He's really nice. I like him. So the thing is, I feel like I went through a certain phase in my life where back then we didn't have podcasts. Our YouTube videos, audio recordings,
Yeah.
that was pretty much it. So I started with Alan Watts. Alan Watts was someone who
Audiobook.
Yes.
Kind of okay.
Yes.
Everybody-
Alan Watts and
Abraham Hicks.
I don't know who Abraham is.
Alan Watts sorry.
Okay.
And Power of Now.
Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle. Yeah. That way.
Similar, yeah. But Alan Watts is very, I think he's intellectually really stimulating.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Right. So Alan Watts was like probably 6 years ago. 7. I think that way because 2012.
ನಾನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ 2015.
Yeah.
2012 is like, I don't
Right.
really know what I was doing back then. 2015.
So how was the gap year?
Between?
The gap year that you took?
Bro,
That you mentioned?
so see, right after college, I went traveling because I couldn't finish my degree because I had a back paper and I had to come back after 6 years. I had to come back after 6 months to write it, to finish it. So those 6 months I went traveling. And when I went traveling, I think I found a part of myself.
Yeah.
Like not like I was looking. I didn't know even that I was looking. Then I came back, finished my exam and realized that I didn't want to work away right after my degree. I had no idea because I knew I didn't want to do journalism. That much I knew.
What was that? After the travel that made you change your mind?
No, when I was in college, okay, I knew that. I think towards my third year, it became very clear that this is not the field I get it. So my other subjects were travel and tourism and history. I had love for history, travel and tourism. Yeah, why don't I become a travel journalist?
That's so nice.
Yeah, never did it, but.
But yeah, you still with the advent of Instagram stuff you can like easily start on and just see like how it started.
It's not. It's these are things that don't drive me anymore.
Yeah.
I realize.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so I came back after my traveling in Bangalore and I did yoga. This was funny. I have no idea why I chose to study yoga, but I did.
So I get you for the fitness podcast, which I
told you.
See?
Yeah.
So this is the segue, the gateway to the other podcast. Yes.
So I finished yoga in 2016. 2017 I left home. I went to
Yoga, like how many hours of certification that is? And where was this?
Yoga. Nina?
Kerala.
Bangalore.
Okay, I've heard the.
Yeah.
Akshay is Hebart. So that should be good.
He has contact everywhere.
In Hebart, there's one.
Yeah.
Who's the daddy?
Yes.
I mean, like.
So when I studied, I had no knowledge of what it was I was getting into, but I had a drive for it. I was very fascinated. So I did training of 3 hours every day. It was supposed to be 6 months, I did it for 8 to 9 months.
Okay.
And not consistently I did 3 hours, but that was the given time that And it was great. I learned a lot about what not to do, basically. How not to.
Yoga,
Yeah.
yes. Which
And then I pretty much decided that I wanted to go to Dharamshala. I wanted to study Tibetan Buddhism. Tibetan
Eastern
Buddhism.
philosophy.
I don't know why also. So funnily, philosophy, I think I was seeking for it also. And then I went for it and never came home. That's pretty much what happened.
Okay.
After that, I think I kept following philosophy for a very long time. Like I stayed in Kerala for a while. Not years.
Kerala teaching yoga.
No, I was doing Upanishads. I was studying Vedas and Upanishads in Kerala in an ashram. So I basically came to a point in my life where I didn't want to be a part of this society. Not like actively be a part, like how I've been all my life.
Okay.
I just wanted to
Understandable.
take a celibate route.
Everybody.
Become a sadhu.
There is like it's more prevalent now.
Yes.
Like that kind of calling at an early age versus somebody who was like earlier, right? Somebody was born way earlier.
Yeah.
But now you see that like kind of a midlife thing is like accelerating. It's coming closer. It's not no more right at 30 or 50. It's more around 20.
Yes, it
so
definitely is.
To some degrees, even I obviously had that kind of a calling.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me just like finish up with journalism. Do you still see any place where journalism fits into what you're doing right now, or any like vantage points or views where like what you're doing right now is somewhere relevant?
No.
How much time?
No, we don't. Okay.
Right.
Are you there? Okay.
6 minutes. Peaceful.
No, I don't.
Fuck that shit.
I don't. I like in terms of like I do writing now. I think I found my creative outlet. I found not just one.
So you like to write?
I love to write. I love to express.
Nice.
I believe I'm a very expressive person. It's my most comfortable thing to do is to express.
Yeah.
But I'm also a very private person, which a lot of people don't know.
Again, acceptable. I mean,
yes.
like, as far as I'm concerned, too, like I am private, but like I'm out and about.
Yes.
So it's somewhere I find a balance. I need to be out, but still I need my reading time.
Yeah.
Like I need to sit back also. But yeah, I need to read anymore, right?
No, I tell you, I have a technique.
Okay.
That-
Is that like a
Yes, it's called morning pages.
okay? Morning pages.
Morning pages. Okay, it basically came into my life through this book called The Artist's Way.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's the?
Not us. Okay.
No problem. Google.
The Artist's Way. And that book changed my life. It basically talks about how we have a wounded child who's quite creative in nature, and she talks about how you can overcome all of these blockages that you have. Okay, just of the book. And she gave there was this one activity that I think caught on really well in my life, which is you wake up in the morning and you write 3 pages.
I read more than so it's the
You
opposite.
wake up and you just write. It's like output. You don't take an input, right? You just put out. You put out whatever is there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What's the nearest to the subconscious basically as you wake up?
Yeah. And like it's not writing in terms of like where you're articulating the words you're writing. It's just your hands moving
Just
and
like
things are just like
flowing down.
yes. And that's very hard to do because if you're
I
someone
already thought
yes.
just woken up.
And also if you're someone who likes to have control, it's very hard to take that step back and let loose. To like really write whatever is coming, right? Because you have control. You're thinking what.
So basically, you're right. The left part of your brain is like trying to like, be like, no, grammar Nazi, like that shit's wrong, this shit's wrong. But you have to let the other part of it. There is a book also. It's called Flow by Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi. That's how we pronounce it. But yeah, so you have to essentially find a state of flow, and somewhere they say like early in the morning this helps.
I mean, so the whole point being is I think it makes space. You make space in your head. You get the clutter out and you make that little space for other things to come in or for other things to like flow through.
early morning, writing, habit of writing down early in the morning, right?
Yes, like 3 pages in the morning. It was an exercise that she talks about, which through my own personal experience has worked great for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I like to write. I like to put my words into poetry. I have a lot of craze for poetry also.
Your page, IG page is something like that?
No, I don't.
It's personal.
Yes, it's very, so I believe
personal database.
Yes, it is. A lot of things. So when it comes to writing or the kind of music I listen to, they're all quite intimate to me. Because it says a lot about who I am.
Okay.
I'm not, yes, I don't. I genuinely don't. I'm very it depends who they are and how they know.
Yeah, so there are different aspects of creation. So some creation you want to hold it back yourself.
Yes.
And some parts where it's okay to hold it up.
Yes.
Like yoga.
Yeah. Yes.
How do you get to yoga?
What do you mean?
So if you do not know personally and the way I look, probably I don't do yoga, but I'm a huge believer in yoga.
Yeah.
I fucking love yoga. And throughout my journey of understanding fitness somewhere, yoga was a great place where it makes sense to do yoga because it's more of stretching and it's more of that aspect. If I look at it in terms of what I do in the gym, right? It's that aspect of stretching, like the body stretch, more than breath work. But for me, it's more of how much can you stretch and how much can you ease out. Now a lot of people are sitting and they're working day-to-day lives. And they don't do any kind of exercises. But what I suggest is obviously just go for just basic 15-minute yoga and stuff. As in my sister and my mom also, both of them are yoga heads. Right, so I understand where that comes from and I'm a big believer. I don't think you need to even go to the gym as much as if you just do yoga, you're well and good. So that's why I asked how did yoga get into your part of your curriculum and where do you start learning it?
I always had my awareness with my body has always been a very blessed part of my life. It's not something that happened a couple of years ago. It's something that I've had it since I was young, I guess. So I've always had this I think the way yoga sat into my life was because it helped me become more aware of something that I already had in my life, right? And I say yoga, and by that I mean basically unity, right? That's what I mean, in union.
That's what
it's
the definition.
Yes.
Which I would have asked you already.
Yes.
It is the question.
Yes. That's what it means to be in union, right?
So what do you understand? What have you understood of being in union through yoga?
Well, I think yoga, what physical yoga you see is actually just 0.1% of what yoga actually is. Yoga is a way of life, right? It's there's mind yoga, there's so many levels, so many dimensions to what yoga is. Yes, all of it is part of union, right? It can be anything and everything basically. So for me, personally, yoga, I think it's a way of life. I believe I have a certain, my way of life, I'm becoming more, not aware, more comfortable with the way of life I've always had. It's not something that drastically changed or happened. It's just, I've always been this person, I just had a lot of shit on top to cover that person, and now, now I feel like that has been my journey, to uncover this part of me, and the more and more I seem to go in that direction, the more comfortable I seem to.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's the landscape in Cambodia, where you were teaching and stuff?
Okay. Well, the first job I did was in a pine forest. It was a national park called Leone. It's gorgeous. It's actually, Cambodian government works in a funny manner. They had allotted a certain amount of their plot to a Japanese company.
Okay.
And that guy, basically, he created, he created in a national park, he created a resort. He created a resort and also
Kirirom. Okay.
Kirirom Institute of Technology. So the whole idea was that there were investors in the company who would also invest in students who would in turn create projects and make prototypes and sell it. So it was like a
incubation center.
Yes, it pretty much. That's where I got to work. So I was teaching university students. 18, 19, 20. I was teaching English.
And do they have English too?
16. It was the first batch of Japanese students who came there. So there were Khmer students who I didn't teach, but there were 16 Japanese students who came down and I was teaching them.
How you teach English? Do they know basic English?
Of course, they know better English than you do.
Why we go
because they don't.
It's just part of the curriculum.
No, in their culture, they're not encouraged to speak and communicate the way we have been encouraged, or actually we just do it anyways.
Yeah.
They're not. They're very reserved, very they have a profile. They don't communicate with you. They understand everything you're saying, but they have never practiced to communicate back.
Okay.
That was my job.
And how receptive were they to yoga and stuff? You used to bunk or was it lenient or?
I was, in terms of what role I played?
The kids, they liked it or they were like?
It was hard, man. It was very challenging in the beginning because I think I would go into class and I'd explain something and I'd be like, okay, are you guys understanding? And this is how. They would just be like, and I'd be like, are you guys understanding? And this is it. There's no, forget body language. I'm extremely expressive in my body language.
You're doing it for them.
Yes. And I think it stressed me out up until this one point where I decided.
Is it like a culture shock?
Yes. I think for them it was more than it was for me because back then I had dreads. I looked
your face.
Yes.
You're
I
a teacher.
Very I was a full blown what you would call hippie. I really was. It was a way of life I had taken on. Taken on. I was living it.
And they didn't know what was happening.
They had no idea, who's watching this creature?
They were supposed to be So it was practical, and theory was there?
See, I was teaching English, I never thought that yoga. Yoga was something I did for the resort a couple of times. I had classes, but
There's a resort and an institute.
Yes. In the institute, I taught them English. Right? But in my second job, I was a physical education.
Right?
Grand Mountain International School. It's
it's sort of a personal question, but there's somebody out there probably listening. How do you reach out? How do you get a foot into these places?
Okay.
For somebody who's listening, who's young enough.
Quite simple.
Okay, there you go.
You have to be persistent in your approach, especially when you're in a country that's not your home.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're in a different country. I think life pushes you in that direction. What are you going to do when you wake up and fuck, I don't have money? You need that money, right? So you're going to yes. Yes.
So cold calls, cold messages. How do you do it? Even I do a lot of this stuff, right? So cold messages or cold emails. How do you round down? This is where I want to work or.
No. You do not have the privilege to be.
So there are applications open for this.
This is the school I'm going to choose.
Then there are applications open.
Yes, all their schools will be open and they'll be like, okay, they're looking for this teacher.
Where do you online?
Yes, Facebook.
Okay.
They're like, oh, we're looking for this teacher.
Hashtag yoga teacher, right?
And that's it. I never went in as a yoga it was never my backbone. I never walked into places telling that I was certified. It was something that I always left hidden.
Okay.
Only when time came, I'd be like, okay.
But then you can teach.
Yes, I can. Which was my third job. Which is a yoga teacher. I was teaching in a vegan cafe in Cambodia.
Okay. How's veganism then? Quick question.
Well, I think
veganism is picking up everywhere, so since you say a vegan cafe there, is it a trendy thing or was it
I think because there are so many expats in Cambodia. Cambodia is this country you can imagine where there are lots of expats and NGOs and there's lifestyle for depends. It's like
You've checked out any vegan places here?
no.
Or like vegan places in IG and do you
Not
see
yet.
any difference?
Not
Or what do you?
I haven't left home in a way that.
Other than here?
Yes, I really have not.
How's that? How's
Wait,
Bangalore?
I'll tell you what. It's November 13th. So
Go
it's
for it.
November 30th. It's going to be 2 months since I got back home. I've kind of pretty much been at home.
It's good, right?
It's
You
great.
get away, so now
It's
you're back
fucking
home.
great. Like
Yeah.
I don't even. There is no part of me that feels like I want to get out. In fact, I feel like outside will be so much more exhausting.
But compared to you being always away, traveling, so was that like a change of my heart and mindset, or was it just like right now the circumstances have made you get home so then,
It
or
was
do you
a-
still yearn for like being outside and traveling and stuff?
Like
I asked because like I've read Nike's, the book is called Shoe Dog.
Yeah.
So he talks his complete experience,
Yeah.
basically how he got a shoe,
Yeah.
Otisuka shoes these are called. Okay, Otisuka is like a manufacturer and tiger shoes basically. So he has again like
Yeah.
somewhere correlated to your journey, like a heavy journey through Japan,
Yeah.
and he goes and he gets fucked over by some of the guys and somehow managed to get back a couple of shoes that he starts selling. That's the story of Nike, how it started basically.
Yeah.
So it was like very interesting.
Yeah.
And he, again, like the way he's written it is also very beautiful. Like, and he sort of puts it in a form of like an adventurous movie-esque. Seeing what Nike is right now, also like this giant it is. But it was that earlier roots of like spirit of adventure to go. He actually had a book on how to do business with Japanese, and that's how he just
That's
fuck this shit and
Yeah.
he climbed out to the place and he went outside because he had this passion for running basically.
Yeah.
So he wanted to get out shoes basically. So he had this crazy passion. So he searched for like crazy shoe distributors. Now we have fucking Alibaba,
Yeah.
AliExpress, Shopify,
I thought
Dropship.
they don't allow it to India anymore. I thought you can't order anymore.
No, but yes, we have that technology now. This was the time that the first guy ever to get like crazy shoes.
Yeah.
And during that time he hated Adidas and
Yeah.
Nike, Adidas and like Puma, which were like the biggest shoe guys basically. So that journey was somewhere familiar because I still understand what you were trying to say because the way he wrote it too, and as I read biographies too, like that's one common theme, like sense of adventure and spirit. And you go and you feel different cultures, big culture shocks, and like a lot of you're young. That's like a positive aspect, but like again, you're young. That's like can be a negative aspect, right?
It's both. See, it's like I think I went to find myself, and it became an adventure in itself.
Yes.
Right. And I think I've come back for the same reason I left.
Okay. Right.
To find yes, I've done a full. I really have done a full circle.
Yeah.
I come home because I have to get through whatever this part is of my own life for me to go further. Right. But sense of adventure will never die.
Yeah.
It's in the very core of who I am.
And what's your viewpoint on where Bangalore was? So tell us the gap that you were missing in Bangalore, essentially, so that people know and understand like how somebody, because like there is a familiarity by people living in Bangalore don't understand like how Bangalore is going through. Like that's where again this is a lot of a common theme that I asked in our podcast, right, about Bangalore, and I come to realize like all of us have familiarity biases basically. We're too familiar with the place, we really don't know what's happening. So like, what are the years you were
This is
missing?
gonna be interesting. Well, when I was here in India, I started hating Bangalore. I reached a point in my life that I couldn't stand because I suddenly felt like 10 years of my life from like younger days or like in first PU, second PU to where I had reached when I was doing yoga. That I felt like 10 years of my life went really quick. Like I did not see what was happening to Bangalore because I was so caught up in my own life. And one day when I looked around, I was like, this is not where I grew up. This is not the place I grew up in. It's not, it does not feel like home.
So what's the period you were
just
not?
infested. Wait, but the period I wasn't was 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. 3 years.
So that's a good chunk of the later part of
Yes. But what I've understood is like because now I've come back to Bangalore and I love it. There's something very, it's also very terrifying.
Movement going on.
It's also very like, I realized that I was so busy hating on the fact that Bangalore was like developing so quickly that I forgot that there's trees.
Yeah.
Like when I look at trees, it's just like I feel like yes, this is the city. This has been the city I grew up in. I have a lot of love for it. But definitely in terms of like pollution or like forget pollution. I didn't want to say traffic.
Compared to where you were.
Yes, traffic. No, it's actually the same. That's what I'm telling you. I haven't gotten. There's a reason I think also I don't get out of the house because I'm scared. I'm scared to interact with the traffic, with the people, with like. I just am. I just don't want to.
Probably you have to sit with me.
Yeah, but I don't want to. That's what I'm saying. But as far as I see, I somehow feel like Bangalore is in a better space than I thought in my head that it was. But it's changed a lot.
Okay, give me some visual cues.
Oh my god. Do you remember these? Like there was a horse stable in Malaysia. I don't know if you remember. These are the things I remember growing up. Which suddenly has come back. That grass is there now. Oh, where's race school?
That's all. Like the race school, I probably find out. Malaysia
ground. There's that Amani college. That Amani college. There was that whole place used to be a horse stable. I remember when I was young, walking that road and catching these horses. Now it's just, I don't know what's there. I really don't know what's there. I think a bus stand or something. Stuff like that. I remember, I know certain roads that I can't recognize because certain roads are like, where the fuck are we and what is this?
Crazy.
Yes.
So that's why you want to listen to the Bangalore Podcast. Just to know what the fuck, where you are, all the real That's what that matters. Okay. So that's your overview of how Bangalore is.
Yes.
What about outside of Bangalore? Like, so this is something common that I say in the podcast. So for us, people who have been in Bangalore already, we were Bangalore and Malaysia.
Yes.
On the side, that's on Puri. Right, Yalanka, bro.
Yes.
That's all. That's where it ends, right? So now you and I know that's not where it ends.
Yeah.
You have like.
Bangalore borders are slowly like.
And you have Kanakpura. They call it. It's Bangalore. Like, you don't like. There's no two words about it. Like, what do you think? Have you gone around?
No.
Probably we should take you after you get around to.
Well, I'll tell you where I recently went. Yalanka side I've been because my aunt stays there near Vidyavanapura. So I've been that
That's
side.
not Yalanka. Vidyavanapura is still in Bangalore.
Yeah, I like that area. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Yali also, my one aunt stays in Yalanka, one aunt stays in Vidyavanapura. They're quite close. I like it. Yeah. We are also in North.
No, that's what I said. Yeah, so North.
Yeah.
But that's North.
Yes.
Full North.
Yes.
Bangalore.
And where else? I really have not gone to the other side, which would be Kormangla and Bangalore. Oh my god, I don't even want to. I don't even have this thing of like, oh, I want to go see.
Let me see what's
I don't care. I'd rather like to do a road trip.
That's around Bangalore?
Yes.
Around
my own area, which is Hastags, which is a new area for me. I've never lived in Hastags. Don't know fucking what it is. Okay, first of all, it's like a card. Never traveled these areas. That's what I'm saying. It's very.
It hits Durbara.
Very unknown for me.
So we should do tracks and stuff.
So that
Even though that's nice.
Yeah. Durbara.
Crazy place.
And I like.
Great tracks.
I like this. Even for just like I think in terms of like the people who live that side. There's a gap between me and that people. But it's not just the people who live there. I just think maybe there's a gap between me and just like, there definitely is. But also at the same time, it's the most inherent. It is very shanti, very shanti.
Too chill.
And it's nice, I like it. So maybe at some point I'll start cycling around and go explore.
Yeah. You should trek before you should get around also.
I used. Well, not. See, Bangalore and all is like, I've been in Karnataka, I've gone to Masinagudi, I've gone to like,
Hello.
yes, Vayanaad, what else is there? What's the place in Tamil Nadu?
Kodak.
Vedaikanal,
Yeah.
all normal places.
Okay.
Kerala I've been. I've
Goa.
been to Kerala, Goa of course.
Okay, let's not go around Bangalore.
Yeah.
Let's talk strictly about Bangalore. Okay, I want to ask, how's yoga in Bangalore? What's the Bangalore scene that yoga?
Who the hell knows? Like, what I see.
At least.
No, definitely not. Because I think I know already. I know that because Bangalore is one of the big cities in India, it means that the lifestyle around yoga has definitely, like now in 2016 I marketed Bangalore and there was a boom. Okay, now it's 2020, 4 years later, and I'm thinking it's multiplied, there are a lot more options, there are a lot more like,
Gear.
yeah. Everyone sells you everything. Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
much, yes, that's pretty much what it is. So I think now like yoga has become this, not with everyone or with like, but it is again business.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yes.
So authentically speaking, I have not networked enough to say how I feel about the community. I have not done any fair share of that. But I do plan to start something of my own. And when I do, which will push me to networking,
Yes.
it will be quite interesting to find out how it is.
YouTube channel probably.
Thanks.
Production is awesome. Okay. In terms of gear, since we're speaking about gear, it's just like gentle basics of like what do you wear? I mean like what should one wear? Compression wear or something like that, I presume. At least but what would you suggest?
I suggest wear one chaddi and a loose top.
Not
The most comfortable clothes you can wear. See, yoga pants, I'm telling you, these are all a sell. You have to understand that.
But it's comfortable too.
Yeah, it is, definitely. It's like a skin. You don't, that's what I'm, so basically I'm saying wear less and be very comfortable. That's it.
Not too much
Yeah,
important.
no. I mean, maybe at some point we'll get there, maybe. But it depends on how.
And the yoga mat.
Yeah, definitely. Great yoga mat. That's all that matters. You have a very good yoga mat. Rest, it doesn't even matter what the fuck you wear, what nothing.
Yeah.
But yoga mat.
This is where on the internet,
Yes.
not on CNN.
Yeah. Good yoga mat.
Right. So what else? What music have you been listening? Any other apps that you've been using? Which I generally ask. So if there's anything on your mind.
Yes. There is an app called CoStar, but I also tried an app called Patterns.
What is it?
Astrology.
Okay.
CoStar is nicer.
Okay.
Patterns is quite repetitive, but initially when you get on it, it's nice. Right? And right now I'm going to try a new app called Intellect that someone suggested.
What is it?
I am yet to find out.
There's something
It's basically.
That's it. That I use.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Okay.
I feel like a great endorsement.
Yeah,
Endorser
that's
because I've used it a
that's
lot,
good.
lot of times and like pattern breathing and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That's very
That's really nice.
good fun.
Breathing is great. It's best way to get high.
And
Is
get into
to get-
breathing. So
yes.
like yoga and breathing is like
Yes.
somewhere together, right?
Yeah.
So it goes hand in hand. There's a lot to be said obviously on the internet too. There's a lot about breathing and stuff. But what's your understanding of like how breathing is apparently the remote control for the brain and stuff like that?
I feel like it's common sense.
It is, but
yes,
when you're
but
panicking and when,
yes. So
when you've lost your phone and
Yes.
sometimes you forget to breathe
Yes.
and you know.
you
It
do.
just takes away like common sense. I don't know if you're busy searching for your phone and you're somewhere else and you don't know what the fuck's happening.
That's because I think it's like something that happens in your unconscious, like a subconscious. It's breathing is very like, it's like car driving. It's like initially when you learn driving, you have to be focused, but at some point
But then
it's
let go.
like a second language.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
quite, breath is the same. And I think that's what happens. Like we forget to breathe, or we forget to put focus on breath. Breath is great. Breath work
It's
is
great,
really.
what happens is you're supposed to breathe from the nose. So usually people don't write you.
Yes.
Sometimes people start breathing from the mouth because
Yes.
of sinus issues and shit like that. Right. So again, it forces you to breathe from your nose, and then you're present and you're aware that you're actually breathing from the nose, which is apparently good. Right. What else? Where do you see yourself probably in 5 to 10 years, and any kind of thesis you have going forward, or you just want to begin and just like pick up more skills and understand better?
I think I will be quite established in the next 5 years in the direction that I'm already like envisioning. It's all a work in progress right now. So I definitely think with the next 5 years, it's gonna be a good run for me. Like a great run that I will finally be in a space where I think I will start doing the things, like all the experiences I feel like I gain, I think I will.
Put it out,
Yes.
condense it, and
Yes.
utilize it.
Yes.
I'm putting words
Spread
in
it.
my
Spread it.
So how's the lockdown been? So since we are at home, what do you any new skills that you picked up? Like it's been to that point, like people have started learning things on their own, because some people never understood cooking, so they have started cooking because like again lockdown, no Zomato, no Swiggy. So someone started stitching, someone started playing instruments.
I have not really experienced lockdown. I really am not. Cambodia was not lockdown for me. I did not live in fact made 2 trips. Everyone was locked down. Everywhere in the world I made 2 trips. It was not a lockdown. It only felt that way when I came back to India, because I came with a stamp that said I had to quarantine for 14 days. But the thing is, after those 14 days, I realized I had made a choice to quite comfortably be at home.
Chill.
Yes.
Chill tax.
But also, like, I think because I'm coming. See, 4 ವರ್ಷ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿರಲ್ಲ, ಈಚೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, if you've lived your life, even if you've done it for 1 year, it makes a massive difference to come back to a place and to coexist with people.
Yeah, and that's
Especially your own
why
fucking family, you know.
yeah, and that's why I asked like how's Bangalore changed?
Yeah, it's really different. It's really challenging. It's actually extremely challenging because I came back with a clear I knew why I was coming back. I knew I had to work on a lot of family relationships that I did not. Like responsibilities that I haven't taken up, that I ran away from.
There can be a time for it, and
Yes.
and there you have to be the headspace to be in the time for it. So probably now's the time.
Yes. So I've come back and I've kind of like spent, like I'm saying, like I told you, very creative. My outlets are very creative. I have a lot of baby plans. I have a lot of plants that have become my babies.
Peaceful.
Yes, right. So I'm majority of the time taking care of them, repawning, trying to figure out what is happening. That's a lot of things to learn in itself.
Indoor plants.
No plants are indoor or outdoor. They're just
I mean,
plants.
it is inside it now. It's an indoor. If I got my dog inside my house, right? It's an indoor, within premise dog. If I leave it outside, it's a street dog.
Something like that. So plants, just plants that I think will thrive in sun or in like.
No, because I see a lot of people like going indoor.
Yes.
Indoor, bring the plants inside.
Nothing corded, right? Nothing corded.
So there are some plants which go well with the indoor vibe.
Yes, like cactus, like succulent plants, but they're quite comfortable.
See my plants.
But also remember that they can thrive in crazy sun.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Plant indoor, outdoor. Sun, they love it. No matter what. Direct, indirect, they love sun. So there has to be some sun.
Nice to know people are bringing things that are growing outside.
Definitely. When I was coming home only, I knew I was going to turn my house into. Like I knew I was going to turn my room
What was
into.
that? How was that? You already had that kind of a vibe going on.
Less self-market because I had to prepare.
No, usually I feel with posters. You saw like instruments. Like some people, electronics and stuff. You're like, no, I'm going to make Greek.
No, I already knew that if I had to. I knew that I was coming home for a reason, and I knew that the only way I'd survive through all of it is if I lived in a forest. turn my room and my space into a, yes, pretty much. And that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Plants, do you use it for medicinal purposes too, or alchemic purposes? Because I've read stuff, but so is there an angle to like medicinal purpose plants or something like that, or you just like everybody
I
gets
think I'm a
inside?
medicine woman. I see that. I see that as a huge chunk of
Like a
role.
shaman vibes.
Yes. I don't know, a huge chunk of role I'm supposed to. I will play.
Right.
I am already playing, but very gracefully do so.
Yeah.
And medicine is something that I see myself as a medicine woman. I see this. So that's why I think plants also. I cannot tell you. In fact, there are times when my mom just comes up and she's like, "Kene marta idya," she's like, "Matte marta idya," and I'm just like, this is not like I do one day and I'm like the next day I'm like, oh, it's done.
Yeah, it's living.
It's You have
to take care of it.
And it doesn't mean I'm gonna go hug them and kiss them. None of that, right? I'm just gonna see if they're doing okay.
Right. So there's a theory also, like if you play classical music to plants, they listen, and if you talk to plants, also apparently it happens. I mean, considering the imagery is just vibrations,
Yes.
obviously they.
Yes, you're like, of course.
So there is this there's this kind of barrier between somebody who don't understand dogs or the same matter. I speak to my dog, right? Somebody else who don't understand dog, why the fuck is speaking to the dog as if it understands and stuff. I'm like, actually then you don't understand a dog or something like that, right? It has the response sequences that she has. Since it's my dog, like obviously if I speak to it and somehow it doesn't get through him, he doesn't understand it, then I realize there's a barrier between like what people think something actually a response. So plants do obviously have some kind of like a response. Probably recognize your voice. I mean, like that's pretty easy.
I think there's a language for it.
Yeah,
I think trees have a language. I think the wind has a language. I think it's all frequencies. But at the end of the day, their frequencies, their energies, their literally. That's all there is, right? So they all have a language of their own. I just think, in fact, we have dumbed ourselves down by confining ourselves to a box. Yes. Yeah. So I think you can always access these things within yourself, and it's not like you have to go you have to start doing something to access. You just become aware of these things, and once they come into a reality, I think it grows and it gets nurtured into reality. And I'm someone who believes everyone has their own reality. I don't think we have to support other people's reality. If you don't want to, I don't.
Multiverse.
Yes, I don't believe like this. I believe that if you believe you have a reality, you should stand for it, and that's about it. You don't want to go around preaching what is right, what's wrong. It doesn't work.
Nobody's listening.
Yeah, nobody is listening.
And there are too many channels to even fucking found it boring, tune out, watch something else. Anything you've been watching?
Oh, for sure, bro. Let me say.
And listening
I've
also.
watched a couple of. So I went off into. I love English movies. When I say that, I mean like old England movies. Very rarely. So recently I watched a movie called The Aviator, which is about this guy called Howard Hughes. Right. He was a massive revolutionary in the aviation sector. So there are, like in movies like this impact me, there are certain things like The Imitation Game, Beautiful Mind, all of this, they all occupy, like they consume me on a very different level. Like something that gets
it's a creator kind of movie, is it?
Yes, it's kind of like you realize that you know, like how we say that people are paranoid or people are like going through mental
anxiety.
Yes, anxiety, depression, people are having issues. You realize that there is no one in the world who's living otherwise. Because we're all living in the same place, right? And I think to take something out of its context and focus on it so much, it's bullshit, right? You cause a disease when a disease is not there, right? It's something like this. And so when I watch movies like this and I see like these geniuses, they're fucking geniuses, right?
Prestige.
Yes, but they all had their fair share of fair share of suffering or like fair share of traumas that they
vantage points. That's the whole reason I get people over for the podcast.
Dude, it's brilliant.
So that you get to understand like it's all about the Bangaloreans. Like we are all about in different places and like doing different things. So what can be through the lens of the podcast? Who can I get over so that they can explain Bangalore a bit differently? And that's the whole reason I've got to go. My final parting question. Okay. So I ask everybody, if you want to send a message or a message in a bottle, it can be a statement to someone who's listening to this 10,000 years away. You've got some crazy answers, you've got answers. So what would that be? What would Apurvaa say?
I don't know what Apurvaa would say, but
like what's your message in a bottle?
Okay, my message.
It can be a statement, it can be anything, right? So
I think it would be, you are enough.
okay. If you are listening to this, if the video survives a 10,000 year period, say it to them.
You are enough.
Koji.
Yes.
Cool guys. So that was another episode for the podcast. Hope you guys had fun. I definitely
Hope you could hear us.
Yeah, that's post-production. Worry about that later. Don't worry. So I thank her for coming over and for being gracious enough for actually coming over. So hopefully the next time you're here in the studio.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a shed anymore, but a lot of things start from the garage.
Yes.
Let's take that. So killing the episode. See you. Goodbye.